Alright everybody, it is Korea versus China. As promised, we're doing a little bit of catch-up work here, looking over to the other regions that played in the Nations Cup. Now, fair warning, I'm not going to go through the entire qualifier matches. We're going to focus on some of the key matches. And before we're going any deeper with the explanation here, let's introduce our players first here on map number 1, Infernal Shrines, and then we're gonna go into all of the details. On the left side, in blue, we got the Koreans with Hyde on Malfurion, Lockdown with Maiev, Crow on Murden, Kirizaku is playing Leoric, and Reset on Vala. To the right side of the map, the Chinese team with Huoyao, I have no idea, Malthael, Delusional on Johanna, we got Samira on Blaze, Macchiato on Tychus, and Railgun playing Deckard Kane. This is the best of 5 series, obviously, the Asian qualifier for the Nations Cup. 3 regions were represented with multiple teams. We had Korean teams, we had Chinese teams, and we had a few Taiwanese teams. And it was actually pretty cool. There was a lot of development throughout the qualifier. This is the winner bracket final. So we're gonna focus on 2 or 3 series out of the Asian qualifier to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what was happening there before we're jumping into the finals of the Nations Cup. And damn son, already quite the spicy opening by China as they get a double kill, taking Maiev and Vala down. That escalated quickly here. And for Vala, this is of course a big blow since she went into stacking on her level 1 talent. And that means that now some of that attack speed bonus is gone. Very nicely done by the Chinese team. And that's a fantastic opening into game number 1 of this best of 5 series. The finals obviously taking place in Berlin at the Experian. And once again, the quick reminder that there will be links in the description that you guys can check out if you want to have some information about the Experian. It's located in the middle of the Alexanderplatz in Berlin. There's going to be pictures of the event on their website as well. So if you want to see any of those, then head over to the Experian website or the Instagram channels. Links, as mentioned, can be found in the description. And in the meantime, we have Korea going up against the Chinese in an attempt to claw their way back into game number 1. A little bit behind, half a level. Level 4 talents are already here for the Chinese players. Big issue is obviously that this might lead to an early level 7 on the first try, and so you have to be a little bit careful around that. You need to try and do your best in order to bring this back. Already the Koreans trying to be a little bit more aggressive with a quick rotation down to the bottom, hoping for the flank and the kill, but couldn't quite make it happen. Now all the way up at the top, Kirizaku and the boys are already moving back down to the bottom of the map. And in this case now, level 4 missing. Where's my death dealer for Vala? What are we gonna get from Reset here? Him not picking a level 4 talent makes me a little bit suspicious. I mean, I can't see anything else being picked here by him, but Reset hasn't made a choice yet on level 4. And this always gives me some nightmares because we had some tournaments on the Asian server where the wildest builds were chosen. I don't expect something like that to happen from a player of the caliber of Reset, but still, always sticks with me a bit. So we still have a few players that are hiding the level 4 talent. Camps are being taken. First objective is popping up. That lead and experience for China is still there. And of course, both of these teams want to go straight into the grand final. Nobody wants to take that detour through the losers bracket. And let's see which team is able to get there first. Already on the shrine, a little bit of a lead for the Chinese. Maiev coming now up from the top. And so is Blaze. Going to be a 5 versus 5 as they're fighting for another kill. Malfurion in particular might be in trouble here. He's getting chased hard by the red team. But on the other side, the Koreans making a move now for Tychus, trying to drop him. Lockdown has to move out. Another quick Wraith Walk by Kirizaku as he escapes. And Tychus goes down. Tychus eliminated. First kill for Korea, and they're starting to take control of the shrine, but they're far behind in objective points. 33 to 13. And now the potential reset from China as they're tapping the fountain, trying to maybe re-engage here. They only need 6 additional minion stacks and they're going to be fine. Another 3 and they get the first objective. It's a close call here. Deckard Kane gets focused and he is gone. The old man eliminated, but maybe a counter kill on Leoric as they're moving in again, and Kirizaku is in real trouble. He falls. Vala with a few more stacks trying to get a quick kill also against Johanna. Doesn't come through. Punisher is taken, jumps in, and Vala dies again. Second kill against the range carry. Big problem here. And it seems like Hyde might not make it either. Malfurion gone. China with big kills and the first objective. Really bad proc on the jump from the Punisher. This bad boy is going to get a lot more damage done than he should, and this is a problem for Korea. They're falling quickly behind in kills and also in structures as they are now being attacked down at the bottom of the map. Huge issues for them. Vala dying twice definitely doesn't help them either. 10% lost. Maiev is gone. Tychus sacrificing himself for the kill here. And after they take the wall down, the fort is now suffering too. Another jump, another stun. They're moving in for Muradin, but they can't take him on. Still a solid advantage for the Chinese team. They nearly destroyed the bottom fort. The wall's gone half level until level 10. And they are looking extremely strong here. Throwing shade on level 4, we got the Massacre for Malthael. Leo has taken up towards the top. And it's a little bit of a rude awakening for the Korean team here. Korea obviously has, as a region, struggled since HGC went down. Up to that point, the Korean players always at the top of the game, but even in the days of HGC, one of the things that Korea was lacking was a deep player pool. They had some real issues with that. They had the best players, but they didn't have a super healthy scene to begin with. And once that HGC was eliminated by Blizzard, that problem just got increased. So without a practice environment where you have tournaments popping up, as we do have them in Europe and to an extent in North America, it is tricky to really stay on top of your game. So that is one of the things that the Koreans are struggling with, and it is definitely showing a little bit here as well now. Last Rites is in. We got the Blessed Shield. Obviously, Tychus with Odin, and still a bit of a siege down at the bottom as the fort is under additional pressure. They won't be able to take... Well, actually... No, they won't be able to take it down right now, but they will eventually, I suppose. Tychus alone could easily take this on if he wanted to. No big surprises when it comes to heroic abilities. Names are hard today. And up at the top, still our 1 versus 1 between Blaze and Leoric. To the bottom of the map, on the other hand, it seems like China is really trying to take that fort down now. You want that catapult pressure on the lane. Pleb Horse from Delusional over here. And Korea is still defending. Doing their best to hide their forces and play around vision a bit. Another attack against Johanna after the tether, but she's still fine. Still doing well here. The shots are still being fired over here. So, in the meantime, Experience gathered in the middle. Obviously, China would love to play around the talent advantage on the next objective too. So if they can get to level 13 just a little bit quicker than Korea, that might give them a window into the objective just to take position, take an initial lead on those minion stacks, and then they can play around this a little bit further, around that advantage, force Korea to make a play. That would be the dream. But the gap has shrunk. It's definitely not as big as it once was. Korea is catching up in experience. China trying to extend it wherever they can. With Lockdown now moving to the bottom of the map to take another minion wave down. They're getting at least something done here. But also, an attack is coming. Railgun moving in too. And Blaze is missing. This is going to be a decent position for the Korean team. Or is it? Lockdown, last rights, and he's dead. Malthael with a kill before Blaze even appeared, and this is of course bad news for Korea. China with a level 13 talent advantage, and on top of that the early access to the shrine as they take control of the minions. Nicely done. The extra talent gives them now also the super healing potion. We have the attack still coming through. They're making another move as Korea is desperately trying to get at least some minion stacks, but they have to sacrifice Leoric. It's 20-8 on the shrine. Vala gets attacked again. The attempt to save the day for reset, and Hyde is able to keep Vala alive, but they are falling farther and farther behind on the shrine itself, and Punisher number 2 is definitely in reach now. for China. Nicely done here. Another jump, another hit. They're trying to re-engage now that they're back with 5 on the map, but they're looking for the kill. Level 13 talents are finally available for the Koreans too, but here comes the Punisher, already taken, and could definitely have an impact in this fight as well. Lockdown trying to get out once more. Where's that jump? Punisher is coming in, trying to get the kill on Maiev. Lockdown barely getting away from this one, and in the meantime we have still the fight focusing on Johanna once again as Muradin gets targeted by Tychus. The action is on, the kills are coming, the last right saves Tychus and eliminates Leoric. That is stack number 2 now for Malthael. Lockdown barely surviving as the Punisher is chasing him over and over again. And boy, oh boy, what a first game. Definitely struggling when it comes to the Korean team. Now, they haven't really lost too much yet. They are way behind in kills, definitely true. But at the same time, there's not really too many structures that have been taken out yet. This one is still in play, but is now going to be destroyed by I thought it would be destroyed by Jojo. And no, not really. So they're still having to fight for it. Another tether by Lockdown. Shots are being fired. 36,000 damage by Malthael himself. He's the one who puts on the big numbers together with Tychus, who's sitting at 31. Top damage dealer for the blue team is Vala with 24,000. But yeah, failing to take that fort down at the bottom of the map is definitely getting a bit annoying for them, I suppose. 1 level lead though. Chinese have a 1 level advantage at this point, half level, and they're on 16. So that's going to give them an extra talent that they can utilize in this case. Leo up at the top. And here in the middle of the map, they're now looking at Lockdown, just deep pushing as quickly as he can. Fort has now been taken out at the bottom of the map, so finally the first structure destroyed. The lead extends. China is doing well, they're taking control of this. Korea attempting to fight back. Definitely a game that can still be salvaged, but they need to put some work in here. Get the Tempered by Discipline on level 13 for Vala. Not going into Gloom in this case. And with level 16 we now got the Mortality and also the Ethereal Existence for Malthael. Top damage dealer so far. And of course the cooldown reduction around last rights is also going to help him if they can use this a few more times and extend it. But the Korean team is trying to play for level 16. And so they should. They need the talent. They need to play on eye level with the opponent and try and make that happen. Interestingly enough, we have Healing Static together with Reverberation. Not really a combo that you see a whole lot. So traditionally when you go for Reverberation as your level 4 talent, you would see Bronze be at Rage on level 13 for the extra sustain, but Muradin is shying away from this and is instead going for Healing Static here. So not quite the normal combo and synergy that we're getting out of it, but the level 16 talents are now in. Muradin with another good Storm Bolt gets that connected, and Vala of course has Manticore available now, which is going to help her as well. The fight is apparently turning against Korea again though, with a bunker having to be dropped. Yeah, Malthael still alive, but he might fall now. Gets out of the fight, could turn it around. They're getting 1 kill, they're getting 2. That's stack number 3 for Leo. A double kill against Korea. The Chinese absolutely demolishing these team fights. That front line that they have is just so damn powerful right now. Malthael not even falling that last engage. We have Jojo, Blaze and Malthael just absolutely crushing it over here. And it's also reflected in the damage output. 45,000 now for Malthael. Tychus with 42,000. Another Punisher is being targeted, and this would be the 3rd objective in a row that China is able to grab. For Korea, definitely tricky. Leo's back to business. He's so busy spawning in the fight itself, but Muradin has travel time until he is going to be back. 17 stacks. Odin gets used very early here. Didn't really have to go for that right away, but they're forcing them back. Nobody wants to attack into Odin. And thanks to the 17-20 stacks that they already had at the time, they can easily go for Punisher number 3. The wall opened up previously, which should make it very, very easy for the red team to go through that topside forward and take even more lane control in this first game of the best of 5 series of the winner bracket. So, winner bracket final is shaping up nicely. At least if you're a fan of the Chinese. Up at the top, I don't think they can save this one. Korea, that is. So, yeah. 8 kills, 9 kills behind. Blaze is down at the bottom of the map, and it's Maiev and Leo that are trying to apparently apply pressure at the bot lane. But this is starting to get real dicey. One of the ideas of the Korean team was, of course, to use those two and get some extra XP, close that gap a little bit. But as you can tell, their plans are very quickly shifting, since China is just pushing through the top, taking out the wall. They don't fully engage with the keep, but the keep itself has taken damage. Now some of the camps could be stolen away. What Korea needs is they need a team fight, they need a victory, they need to somehow find an opportunity to move in and do some work. This might be just that opportunity. If they lose this fight, then real trouble. It's still a level advantage for China. They're closing in on level 20 slowly and steadily. Maybe a good entomb, but even that isn't really working out for them. Korea's trying to force these fights around entombs, around tethers, just making plays and setting particularly Vala up for damage. But she's died too many times, lost a lot of the attack speed that she gets through her Gambit talent on level 1. And of course the 115 stacks are also nothing to write home about. So a very, very problematic position for Korea to be in. This first game doesn't look good at all. China is starting to walk away with this. Level 20 is imminent, and once they have the Storm Talent advantage, they could push for the top keep, for example. They could take out the fort in the middle of the map. They should definitely try and be aggressive around this. Big red button is in. No one can stop death. Malthael with 3 stacks thus far. And here comes the big red button already. Yeah, immediately going for that fort. Not screwing around at all. Odin just sitting there. They're chasing Maiev on the right side, even locked down with the cage, and this is not looking good for him. The old man, stay a while and get wrecked. And Tigers has fallen, so at least it's a trade in kills. Korea was able to take one of the heroes out. Doesn't change the fact that Malthael now got an additional stack too. That puts his cooldown reduction up to 20 seconds. Pretty significant. And down to the bottom of the map, catapults are now pushing for the wall, as the Chinese are still sieging up a little bit in the middle. I gotta give it to Korea though. With the trading kills, Tigers against Maiev, they haven't fallen too far behind. So they've at least been able to close this gap in experience a bit. And this will all happen around the next objective, and we will see level 20 talents for Korea too. That's an opportunity. That's a chance to bring the game back. They haven't lost the keep yet. They only lost forts up to this point. So technically, they could definitely bring this back. It's a little bit of a concern, by the way, that Tigers is on 9 stacks for his Master Assassin. A talent you take because of the passive, not because of the stacking quest. But if we're seeing some more explosive fights, then Tigers might actually be able to complete this one. But here comes level 20. That gives us the Farflight Quiver. Ooh, Blessed Shield missing. Ooh, that is a cooldown that Jojo just burned that they probably will need in the next fight. So that's a bit unfortunate. Now at the top, one cam gets taken, top right. Also Entomb got upgraded into Buried Alive, another big game changer. This could become problematic for Korea, since this camp will, with the help of catapults at the top lane, eventually push for the keep itself, depending on how long this fight lasts. But let's see what China can do now. Because they're missing out on Blessed Shield. Can they get a kill here? Yeah, there's the hit. Nice. And is that a kill? No, it is not. Forces out Malfurion's ult, but they can't get the kill, and instead it's Jojo that gets attacked. So is Blaze. Bunker is up. Odin doing massive damage from the back. Nicely positioned. Murden trying to apply some pressure onto him with a Skullcracker too. So he's going for it. But Muradin has to be careful now. They're starting to focus on him instead. There's the stun, and that's a kill. Yep. No avatar, no nothing. Muradin is gone and melted away. And that, of course, is very likely going to be another objective for China, unless Korea can quickly get those 5 stacks that they're missing. But they're also suffering damage at the top keep, and that's a completely different issue. 37, 39. Oh, it's so close, and Korea takes their first objective. Korea with the first objective, Tranquility number 2, another last rites, not enough damage for a kill. They're poking them out as best they can, and thanks to the Entomb, Jojo gets crushed. They are getting slowly but steadily some damage into the game. But of course the top keep has fallen. Korea has been suffering some losses there, and even the core is about to get attacked, which forced Leo back so that he can deal with that push. So an interesting situation that we are slowly encountering here. Korea has a final chance to maybe turn this game around. They suffered a lot during the last fight, especially of course that top keep is a huge loss. But if they can now use this opportunity down at the bottom of the map to maybe take a keep down or at least apply some pressure, get a follow-up kill, they could make their way back into this one. And they've been fighting for it for quite some time now. Nature's Cure to save everybody from Deckard Cain's ult. Frozen Punisher, of course, makes the situation even more dangerous for the Chinese. But eventually Korea is falling back. Korea is falling back, trying to maybe get some more value mid and top lane. Leo and Murden have both been pushing for structures in these forts, but only the walls have been destroyed. We have 74,000 damage now by Malthael. He's still fighting his little battle with Tychus, who's now starting to take over on the top damage numbers, but the two of them, of course, looking quite strong here. Vala, on the other hand, 57,000 damage only. Nothing too crazy. Blaze and Malthael, by the way, the only two in this game that have not died yet. Only two survivors. Yeah. Next objective is going to spawn at the top. It's actually quite interesting considering that the top keep on the blue team side has been destroyed, so they need to win this one for sure, if it ever comes to that in the first place, because Korea is now trying to apply pressure. They got to do something. So they're applying as much pressure as they can, trying to get to a decent spot here and take maybe some forts out that would help them with catapult pressure to control the lanes. Tychus with 10 stacks on his Master Assassin. And Vala obviously now a lot safer with the Farflight Quiver. And talking about Vala, Vala has died twice. So the 2 kills that we've seen in the early game were the only 2 deaths of her. Which is honestly quite annoying for Ruleset when you think about it. It's 10% of the attack speed bonus gone. And especially the first kill I just felt bad. You get killed within the first 1-2 minutes of the game, run into a gank, that always feels bad. So he would love to have that attack speed back, especially now with Manticore and Farflight Quiver, would allow him to melt the front line down so much faster. Especially, of course, Blaze is going to suffer tons here. Jojo at least has the blind available and an Iron Skin, but for Blaze this is going to be very, very annoying. Leo is still applying pressure at the bottom of the map. Everybody is playing this a bit safer now, waiting for the next objective, waiting for camps to be taken. 22 minutes into the game. The situation is not that bad for Korea, honestly. If you think about how the game went, they were played to the wall. China was crushing them. But now, after 22 minutes, it's not that big of a gap between the two teams. That top keep is really the biggest component. Outside of that, it's a little bit of leading experience. It doesn't matter too much since we already are on level 20 talents. So it's all about the team fights right now. You win the team fight, you have a decent chance to, if not win the game, then at least extend your position and just, yeah, push out a bit more. Yeah, spray game definitely on point over here. What about pleb spray that we just saw a second ago? Nobody wants that. 5 kills, 2-4 team. Murden still dancing around. Everybody now playing for position, of course. Bot lane, catapults are pressuring a little bit for China. Let's see if they can damage that bottom keep. I doubt it a bit, but time will tell. But everybody is moving in for the shrine, and this is the big one. This is the one where if China wins here, they might be able to end the game. So right now, the tether has already started up. Another stun against Vala in the back, trying to apply the single target damage to Blaze in particular. Odin got popped. Nice, and that forced them back. Macchiato over here trying to control that shrine as best as they can and get the team a bit ahead on those minion points. We're looking at a small lead for China that they are hoping translate into another objective. Oh, Vala with a damage on Tychus, and he is still alive, gets healed over and over again and makes it through the battle. Last rites, and Leo is gone. Big last rites play for Malthael, and now they're chasing the Koreans throughout the shrine. Vala with another quest reward, but Maiev is gone. They need kills, they need them quickly. Malthael is dead. but he's already back to business. No one can stop death, baby. The root on Tychus, and he's not going to be back so quickly. 28 stacks to 25 on the objective. Everybody going for the fights. Vala finally putting the work in and getting good damage numbers now. 80,000, really accelerating the pace after level 20 in the Farflight Quiver. 16 kills, 2-8. Deckard Kane is now gone too. Ruleset is beasting it, absolutely crushing it. Doing big damage and work, but the Punisher has been claimed by China. Malthael could drop another last rites, but he actually gets it out, but it doesn't do any damage. Didn't have a proper target here. Punisher has to be defeated. Fort in the middle falls, but damn, what a comeback by Korea. Massive comeback by Ruleset in particular. So they avoided the worst. They could have lost this game right here and now, but they didn't. They're still applying additional pressure on the map. They're pushing these lanes out. The fort was destroyed at least. 16 kills, 2-9. And we have, of course, both teams now on level 24. Another Stormbolt, rewind, Stormbolt, they're trying for it. Bunker's already out, Bliss Shield had to be used too. They're still trying to save Blaze. I don't think it's gonna happen. He gets the stun with the jet propulsion through, and that is a stagger death. Korea, ladies and gentlemen, really pushing it now. Nicely done. Staggered kills against the opponent are fantastic, and that's a 30-second gap between Blaze and Malthael. So a small window that they have now where they could try and push the envelope a little bit. Also here on the left side, Ko obviously got attacked, but the shield got never moved through. We have another 6 hits missing until Vala gets another quest reward for herself. And already at 92,000 damage, Vala has caught up. Ruleset has really stepped it up. The early game didn't really look that great for him. But now in the late game, he is absolutely demolishing them. That last fight was just beautiful. He was dancing around opponents all fight long, getting one kill after another. Now they destroy another fort. They themselves don't have a fort left anymore. But there's a big opportunity here for Korea to bring this back and take the lead in this best of 5 series at the winner bracket final. China is back with 5 on the map. And this is a bit of a concern. Double catapult. Keep in mind, we're 26 minutes into this game. Catapults, they hurt. They really hurt. And Vala is forced back now. Oh, Malthael! He makes it out again. What an entomb, by the way. Malthael dies. He's gone. Core is soon going to suffer damage, by the way, on the blue team side. There's too many catapults. It's Winion time, and this might become a problem. Too many catapults, too many minions. Somebody has to go back, and it is going to be Maiev. And she really needs to hurry because this hurts, and it hurts a lot. 20% on the core are already lost. We're down to 65% on the Korean core. Winions, just too much to handle. Leo dead, Malthael dead, 2 of the side laners gone. What a game. What an opening into this best of 5 series. 27 minutes on Infernal Shrines already, and we still are nowhere near to a conclusion. Or are we? Because with the dancing around to the top lane, the Chinese are threatening a bit that they might just at some point go and rush for core. Which they could. If they hide in vision with only 65% left, you could actually make that play. I doubt they'd risk that after how the game's been going so far, but time will tell. 260 stacks for Vala. As I said, Ruleset has been killing it in the late game. Level 25. Kind of bananas. Alright, so Vala's at 101,000 damage. She's nearly overtaken Malthael. But the top damage dealer in this game is currently Tychus. Look at the siege damage from Blaze, by the way. 200,000. Maiev is nearly there as well. Top fort has been attacked. They're trying for another quick one right there. And here comes the next objective. 28 minutes into game number 1. What a match. This is getting bananas. This is getting crazy, honestly. 28 minutes on Infernal Shrines. It's been a while that I've seen a game that lasted this long on this map. Off we go. The objective is being fought over, and the aggression is there right from the start, right from the get-go. Storm bolts, bam, straight in the face of Malthael, ensuring that he needs a new dentist, because that doesn't help this face whatsoever. Another hit, blessed shield not connecting, but they're melting Meriton. The last rites, too much for him to handle. Korea in trouble, they're losing one, they're losing two. Leoric is gone as well. He was only skin and bones to begin with. And now they're focusing also on Tychus, who, by the way, completed his quest. Tychus is done with his quest. He completed the Master Assassin. That's insanity. So now even more damage output from him through the attack speed. 130,000. Ruleset is, of course, dancing around opponents in an attempt to somehow bring this back and get a cheeky kill in. But it's not happening. The Mortar Punisher instead has been claimed. 29 minutes into the game. And the push through the middle as China is trying for a win in game number 1. Leoric will be back, and so will Murden. In only 15 seconds, the Dwarf is going to be back in the game, ready for defense. 19 kills to 11. And we're nearly half an hour into the first game of this best of 5. Once again, keep getting attacked and they won't be able to save it. But they might be able to save their core. Focusing on the Punisher, of course, melting it down slowly, steadily. Ruleset with hit after hit, using his Death Dealer, using the Farfly Quiver. Pressure on Tychus. Tychus, he's gone! Tychus gone! They take him down. Can they defend the catapults on the core? It's too much for Korea. They do the work, but I don't think they can save the day anymore. This is it, the lead for China in the best of 5. Nicely done, well played, and a deserved victory on Infernal Shrines for the Chinese team. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Game number 2. China is in the lead with the 1-0 in the best of 5, and we are heading into the second game of the best of 5. And it is Towers of Doom. On the left side for the Korean team, Hyde playing Rega, Lockdown on Li Ming. We got Ruleset on Hanzo, Kirizaku on Hoga, and Crow is playing Varian. Zeratul for China, we got Nuburak played by Delusional, Samira on Dehaka, Macchiato on Greymane, and Railgun on Brightwing for the Chinese team in the second game. Very aggressive composition, and also playing, of course, around Dehaka. Great hero for this particular map. Can play around the globals. And with talents, we now have on level 1 the Regeneration Master for Nuburak. A few more globe quests with the Shadow Hunter for Zeratul. And he's going to play a big role here. Zeratul against Li Ming and against Hanzo. If he plays this well, he will be a constant threat against the backline of the Korean team and their damage dealers. And a nice Zeratul player should be able to really crush you there. Got to be a little bit careful, obviously, when you're going up against Varian. A well-placed taunt when he starts his engage could easily end the life of the Protoss. But Zeratul is going to be the bane of Li Ming's and Hanzo's existence if everything goes according to plan for China. And China is already starting with a kill on Hogger at the top lane. Damn. These early game ganks are really working for them, aren't they? Game number 1, it worked, and now in game number 2 they got another kill. So good for them. Nicely done. Also, while we're still in the early game, another quick shout out, guy. Oh, wait a second. We got Crow attacked here. That was a really nice one. Yeah, nice tongue. Well done. Quick reminder, I said it the other day already in the video, but until the end of the month here in June, if you guys want, you can still get yourself a 15% discount from Holzcan. Check them out. I'm talking about them in one of the recent videos about the watches and accessories that they have in the shop. Awesome stuff. I have some myself. If you're looking for a present for somebody and want to take advantage of that discount, you should do it soon, because it's most likely going to end after this week at the end of the month. So there will be a link in the description that you can have a look at, and you should take advantage of it if you're looking for something, because again, they got some awesome stuff over there, so check it out. Level 4 is in. We have by now Psionic Strength, for Zeratul. It's going to be a Might of the Nerazim build. I mean, he's already done some decent job here. They have 2 kills to 0, but here's now the taunt, and that is going to make Zeratul's life a lot harder. He's a squishy at the end of the day, and if Crow has quick reflexes, whenever he makes a move for those damage dealers and Varian is close by, he should be able to make a move there. We got the Brute Force for Hogger, by the way. There's a bit of a deviation here on level 4. And ooh, the fight at the bottom of the map quickly turning on Greymane, as he has to juke his way past those skills and get out of harm's way. Level 1, by the way, the perfect aim now into the eyes in the dark. And yep, that is a spicy early game again. Now, we have this interplay between Nubarak and Li Ming, of course, so let's see what happens on level 10. Usually, disintegrate for Li Ming is a consequence of you playing against the Nubarak. Pretty much any Nubarak player is going to go into Cocoon, and once that's dropped, you want to go for the cooldown battle and use your disintegrate to burn the Cocoon down as quickly as you possibly can. Now, of course, with the triple altar being up, this is also, we're going to see who starts with the double altar into the early game. The exchange at the top left and top right is already underway as we speak. And down here at the bottom of the map, it is the Chinese team that is trying to get control with a good lick on height. Rega gets wrecked by Brightwing. Nicely done. Kill number 3. Damn. Korea was really fighting back in game number 1, but this early game is not looking good for them. They are lacking the level 7 talent and they are behind by 3 kills. Now the altar gets channeled, so that's a lead in core points for China. And the red team is doing really well here. Great moves by the Chinese team. And Korea has to be a little bit careful here. They did a fantastic job defending in game number 1 and eventually drawing even in talents and levels with the opponent's team. But you don't want to fall too far behind here on Towers of Doom. If you get snowballed, then this could be a rude awakening. An 0-2 in the best of 5 would be a big problem, to put it mildly, for Korea. Coming back from that position is always tricky. One of the teams that pulls that off a lot is the US team, but yeah. I'm not sure if Korea is able to pull that one off. But again, we're not quite there yet. So far, it's only the early game, and yes, granted, China has a lead here. But let's see how Korea reacts to it, if they're able to bring it back. Quest completed for Zeratul. His mobility is, of course, going to be one of the big issues here. And I have my eyes, as explained previously, on Varian, checking how exactly he is going to perform here and what he can do. Another hit, and oh boy. Yeah, this is another quick move as we're seeing now Zeratul aiming for Li Ming. And what a save by Hyde. First it was Zeratul that moved in, then Greymane tried to finish the job, and Reka just barely gets the heals through to keep her alive. That was close. Now, in the middle, okay, Hogger is able to get out. Gets still hit a little bit by Zeratul and chunked down, but not enough to seriously threaten him. Would have been a completely different story, though, if he didn't get the Unstoppable through there at the right moment. Now, next shrine is up, and this time we're talking, or next altar, and this time we're talking about a single altar at the bottom of the map that they gotta go for. So, yeah, here we are. Channel is already happening, but interrupted. Level 10 is so close for China. If I'm Korea, I'm really hesitant about engaging into a proper team fight here. Once that level 10 is there, they're going to be in trouble, and they know it too, so they're trying to get the kill quickly against the Haka, which didn't succeed. But now that we have the minion waves colliding in the middle, there's the heroic ability for the red team. And now Korea has to retreat. They can try and poke from a distance and go for a few interrupts, but that's the best that they can hope for, honestly. The longer they stick around, yeah, but the front, the more trouble they're going to be in. And there it is, the engage, and Li Ming nearly falls. Is able to move back out, but it seems that at least Varian is going to fall, and maybe Hanzo is going to get eliminated too. First, it's Li Ming that dies, and Hanzo, if that stun connects, is also going to say bye-bye, and that's 3 kills for China. That one was avoidable. I mean, honestly, what exactly was Korea hoping for here? After level 10 hit for China, they started to move back a little bit, and then they still stuck around, were hoping to poke. What was the idea? I mean, seriously, what's the plan here? You really think that you can interrupt long enough so that you get your own level 10 and then you re-engage into that fight? That's not gonna happen. Now they lost 3 additional heroes and nearly the bell tower at the bottom of the map. Maybe they can finally get a kill here against Greymane. He's gonna fall. But Korea, they are making their own life so much harder with decisions like this. And China is doing a fantastic job capitalizing on it. They see an opportunity and they went in deep. Took 3 kills, spiraled it completely towards the bell tower, nearly took the entire thing. Korea now trying to at least steal a couple of camps away, but they've fallen behind in experience even further. And that was more than a little bit tricky. Greymane and Zeratul absolutely destroying this fight there. And this is 6 kills to 1 for China. Yeah, and Korea is of course now in a spot where they feel the pressure. They've brought it back a bit in experience, but once that this double wave here is going to be taken, this is going to extend China's lead once again, which you can see right now at the top of the board. Level 13 is definitely in their grasp. So it's going to come down on the next few fights, and once that China wins another battle, they can go down to the bottom of the map, get that bell tower. They're forcing it already. Here's that interplay I mentioned earlier, going into this integrate to counter Cocoon. Yeah, another arrow out, and Hyde is dead. Even with a short distance stun from Hanzo's ult, they weren't able to save Rhaegar. He got wrecked. Bottom bell tower nearly taken. Here's the level 13 talent, and that will allow China to push this further. They could try and just go straight in for the structure before they do the channel, but apparently they are not that worried about it. Actually, Samira interrupted once. Might interrupt again. They're getting damage in, and now he gets the full 4-5 shots. No, 4 shots only. Didn't play that properly. Should have interrupted once again on the channel. Didn't wait long enough, so now they only get 4 shots instead of the 5 that they could get. It's always a little bit annoying when that happens. They miss it by half a second, I'd say. If this is going to have any consequence or not, we're going to find out later on. But for now, they are the ones in the lead. They have taken a significant lead on core points. They are a level ahead, a bit more than that even, and they of course have a big kill advantage. Level 13, Illusionist. It's going to be a big one. It's really going to help Li Ming stay alive. But then again, having some trouble at the top too, because Zeratul is kind of outplaying Hogger here and is absolutely crushing this. At the bottom they're defending the bell tower, but just look at what happens topside. Hogger is having real trouble, and this is not the only lane that is under pressure. In the middle of the map, Zeratul is joined by Dehaka, who's also applying lane pressure. Another quick attack coming. So they're defending with 3 while pushing with 2. And Korea can't retake the bell tower. It's taking way too long. And Nuborak is trying to eat as many of these shots as he can, as you can see here, to make sure that they can't poke this down. And this applies pressure in the middle, it applies pressure up at the top. Zeratul is going to continue this play and is doing the exact same thing again. It's a beautiful strategy and it's working out really well as long as the top bot lane can delay the inevitable. Because eventually, of course, bot lane is going to be reclaimed. But now another one is taken. Arrow down at the bottom of the map. Delusional is immediately ready here at the front and interrupted any follow-up attempt. There's level 16. They're going for the full barrage. Korea is getting murdered here. They're getting absolutely murdered. 7 kills to 1, 2 levels behind nearly. And just look at this. Even if they retake this one, it's going to be such a disaster. If they can push into the middle and take that bell tower, the barrage starts. Now it's 2 altars, top left, top right, is the 2 that we're looking at. Yeah, finally a taunt, and maybe Dehaka dies, but no, he doesn't. Dehaka is going to be absolutely fine here, at least for now. The attacks continue with a quick tong. Yeah, Zeratul is in, they're interrupting again. Li Ming and Greymane are slowly coming through. Reset had to be healed by the Ancestral, and at least this time Zeratul dies. But Korea is not out of the fight just yet. They're trying to turn it on Greymane, who is retreating. Another kill attempt against Dehaka, and 3 are down. Finally, Korea with a bit of a play here. And as China was hoping to put a nail into the Korean coffin, it is the blue team that turns it. Takes 3 kills and is now able to get both of the altars. Now, that's a measly 2-3 shots fired per altar, so not really a whole lot. But they caught up in experience, so that's worth something. And they can retake some of these bell towers now. But this is again a play just barely in time to avoid the worst case scenario. If they don't win this fight and get some kills, they could be faced with a full barrage and full control of all the bell towers by China. But now we have a 5 versus 5 back up on the map. At the top, they were trying to take this one. They couldn't recover. So it's 5-3. We have 31,000 damage by Greymane and 29,000 by Zeratul. I'm talking Greymane. He's actually at the bottom of the map going for the pumpkin camp. So he's taking that. Where at the same time, top side is going to get reclaimed. 3 shots get fired through the altar. So Korea is again trying to stabilize a little bit. It's very reminiscent, honestly, from what we've seen in game number 1. Early game, early mid game, Korea gets murdered. After that, they win a team fight, they get a bit of momentum, they start to stabilize, and they are putting on a fight. It's 24 points to 31, so it's still fairly even. A lead for China, but nothing that can't be bridged later on. Zeratul, oh yeah, that's a kid. No, it's not! What a save! What a beautiful save, and now Anubarak gets wrecked. Anubarak taken down 24-31 at the bottom of the map. Another play being made, and this time the Haka is gone. The Haka gone, and this is Korea taking the lead in experience all of a sudden and getting way more aggressive. Zeratul, as highlighted in the early game already, he's going to be the big one that really needs to make a lot of the plays here and is going to try and do exactly that. But it is difficult against a Varian with taunt. You can do a lot of damage around the edges, but whenever you get taunted, you will die quickly. So here's some momentum as they're taking control over the bottom bell tower. Korea is all of a sudden ahead. Ahead in experience, closing in on kills, and more importantly, ahead on structures. Late game Towers of Doom, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you get there. Late game Towers of Doom is where it all can change. Scaling. You are looking for decent scaling into the late game, and they got plenty of it. Double channel on the altars, that would be 10 shots fired, so they have a chance to pretty much draw even here. Interrupts are slowly happening, shots are fired, and Kirisaku is not gonna get the last one. Is anticipating this play by Zeratul and is immediately following up on it. I like it. So Zeratul, if he moves in again, is very likely gonna be taunted and killed. So yeah, sees that one coming too. We're on 21 points on each side. That arrow went nowhere, but they still get the kill, and that's all that matters. Zoning arrow to force him to the side, and all of a sudden, momentum for Korea. Here we go. They're gonna take the lead in points as well. 4 shots fired, and that is going to put Korea ahead of China in game number 1. And just look at this. They're going now for more and more aggression around the 5-man that can rotate on the map. Hogga still sitting at the side for a bit, but they have level 20. And with that, we get the temporal flux for Li Ming, and we get vigilance right here. Cooldown reduction, both teams with level 20 talents. 7 kills to 7. And of course the attempt to use the numbers advantage to get more control. Get another bell tower. And it's always about bot lane. Bot lane where 2 of the mercenary camps travel through, where your pumpkins can directly attack the opponent's core. That's where they're trying to make their play. Diving in deep in an attempt to get a kill. But they are definitely going to get that bell tower. Bell tower claimed. Next altar, we're going to have 2 spawn, which means that they could drop China down into the single digits. So up towards the top, that's where we're now getting Samira trying to equalize the situation a little bit by claiming this one, which could happen. I doubt, actually it's going to happen in time. So Korea is not out of this just yet. China is taking the top bell tower and is pushing in the middle for another one. 4 bell towers to 4. And Ubarak already diving in, and oh boy, Hogga gets deleted. Hogga pulls a Houdini and just disappears, and so does the Haka. I was about to say he got Hanzo'd, but he got Liminged. The Haka is gone, just disappeared. The counter kills, what the hell? Blow for blow between the two teams now. Li Ming gone, no more resets. Greymane also, it's kill for kill for kill. Zeratul is dropped, Cocoon used. And Korea again chasing the remaining heroes of the Chinese team. And Anubarak and Brightwing barely make it out. Another 4 shots can be fired, maybe more than that, but this is likely going to drop the Chinese down to single digits on their core. And Korea, for some reason, isn't channeling yet. Apparently they really think that they can take that bell tower in time here in the middle. They might be able to, but the Haka is back in 10 seconds. So you gotta be a little bit careful around this. I'm not quite sure if they should have maybe started the channel there. It's definitely them taking a little bit of a risk. So yes, it's a 4 versus 3 now. Is the Haka moving down into the mid lane? Probably not. So this is gonna happen. Reset with the channel. 5 shots fired, 8 points on the core of China. Yeah, there we are. And with that, we have more control for Korea. Arrow dodge, nice. Nicely done. Also cool to see the play of the game utilized by Reset as he's dropping himself straight into the fight, trying for a follow-up. But good map awareness by the Chinese team, making sure that they are not getting hit by that stun. That could have been disastrous for them. But of course, they're already with the back to the wall. If those pumpkins make it through, they're going to be down to 5 points. And yep, all 3 are connecting with the core. 5 points to 21. And as they are going for another pumpkin camp, let's also double check. Boss is up in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Then we're going to have that back up. Damage output in the meantime. We have 62,000 from Hanzo, 52,000 from Li Ming. Roughly the same amount that we're seeing from Greymane. And Korea's ability to bring it back in the late game is pretty impressive. But it's also something that I wouldn't gamble my victories on, because if China doesn't get wrecked in that one team fight and momentum starts to build up for Korea, then this is a very different game. China has dominated both early games now. And yes, Korea makes it very interesting in the late game, but if at any point China plays it maybe a bit safer towards the late, mid and end game, then Korea is going to have a much harder time here. So another play of the game moved by Reset as he comes in here. Couple of shots also being fired at the top through pumpkins that were escorted through. Zeratul now converted the bell tower in the middle of the map over. So Korea is falling behind bell towers. We are 19 minutes in. Again, late game momentum is all that's needed. And so far all the late game momentum has been in the hands of the blue team. But if China can now win a team fight again, they're already channeling the first here, then it would be a very different story. So 5 shots have been fired, 13-5. Guys, this could get really close. If China wins this one and gets the boss, that's all of a sudden 9 points removed. That would put them nearly even in core points. So that's a big opportunity for China to bring this one back. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of nasty. So, is the channel happening? Yes or no? Bell tower control in the middle, still maintained. Slow pokes from Reset as he's trying to take it. Varian sitting in the bush. Samira, he's attempting to do his thing. Starts with the channel. Li Ming is poking it out and reclaims the bell tower. Good news for Korea. They get the bell tower here, but the altar is still being fought over. 4 shots, that's something that China could technically deal with. Would put them down on a single point on the core, but keep in mind there's a boss to be fought over as well. So this is likely going to be the conclusion of the game, one way or another. But who takes it? Again, the hit, Li Ming, looking for resets. Zeratul gets out of the fight. Hanzo following him, and Zeratul is back to business, but jumps straight into Li Ming, who shows no mercy and takes him down. Holger with a spin to win over here, looking for another kill. They could go for the channel, they could go for the boss, they could win the game here, and they likely will. The Haka is gone, and the Nubarak is getting crushed. Anubarak about to die. First the fruit fly falls, and now it's another kill attempt on Zeratul. Anubarak is on the run. He is the only survivor and is able to take Li Ming down at least. but this should be the conclusion of game number 2 as Korea moves in for the altar, for the bell tower in the middle, the channel over here to the left, and this is of course the inevitable end of this last fight. 14 kills to 10, Korea tying the series and putting a point onto the board in this winner bracket final of the Nations Cup qualifier for Asia. GG, well played. Game number 3, the series is tied. Both teams aiming for the grand final of the Asia qualifier. On the left side, on Battlefield of Eternity, we have Hyde on Anduin. Keep in mind that every single hero can only be played once within a series. Of course, since this is cast from replays, this was played in a different time zone, therefore we couldn't cast this live. Oftentimes there were other things playing parallel too, but again, every single hero can be only played once, therefore as the series progresses, the drafts will definitely become a little bit more fancy. In this case, we got Lockdown on Deathwing, Kirisaku on Sonya, Reset with Jimmy, we get Reina in the house, and Crow on Tyrael. On the right side of the map, we have Hua Yao on Castia, Samira on Imperius, Macchiato on Genji, Delusional with Garrosh, and Railgun on Karazim. Could be the game where Korea turns it all around. They fell behind initially on Infernal Shrines, but now as we're heading into the second Diablo map in the pool, let's see where they go with this. Also, talking about Diablo, still grinding Diablo 4. I actually lost one of my hardcore characters on level 53 or something to a special open world elite that apparently is currently broken, which I didn't know, and that just one-shot me. Felt really bad. Engaged that guy and he one-shot me, and then when I tweeted about it on Twitter, and someone told me, hey, you should read Reddit a little bit more, and I'm like, what, why? And he linked me a thread where people were literally warned of that special elite, especially hardcore players, because apparently something's not quite right with that special elite right now, and it can one-shot nearly everyone. Even if you're farming T4 and you're encountering that elite in T2, he's still gonna one-shot you, so yeah, I felt kind of bad. But then again, back up to level 60 on hardcore with my Necro, and he is killing things. Roughly the same way that we're seeing Genji kill Deathwing right now. But yeah, if you guys are also playing and you don't have a clan or anything, you can also look us up. Khaldorians in Diablo 4. If you send a request, we are going to accept, and you can maybe play with us at some point, at least some people from the community. So again, if you want to join the Diablo 4 clan, if you're playing right now, it doesn't have to be hardcore. We have also a couple of softcore players. Then you can just look up the Khaldorians clan and send an invite. With that being said and done, as we're continuing on our Diablo map, the first kill in the game was against Deathwing here, so not quite from the Diablo universe, but Anduin and Karazim are also following, and at least one of those guys fulfills that requirement. Anduin, on the other hand, the Nicarda of the Nexus has been dropped, and it seems... Oh, Tyrael! Alright, gets thrown around a little bit, but Hadis and the Druids up and was able to move out too. Now, with us now having 2 kills to 1, it kind of feels a little bit what we've seen previously from China. A bit the same, but at least Korea is fighting back here. It kind of feels that both of the teams are currently settling into a little bit more of a rhythm. I would expect this to be a bit more of a balanced map, because so far game number 1 and game number 2 were a bit bananas. Early game domination by China on both of them, and then towards the late game things started to equalize each time. And game number 1 decided by the red team, whereas game number 2 the blue team able to equalize the score. Now that we're heading into the first objective, of course going to be super interesting to see who's going to take the early game advantage. Exterminator for Jimmy, of course, and Resets finds himself in a very shitty spot and does die. Yep, the end of Reina. This was Jimmy, so he's gone. And that means the main damage dealer for the Immortal race is eliminated. Yeah. Feels a little bit bad. Unfortunate for him. So that's a big win now for China, at least initially. But of course, the death timers are low and Jimmy is already back. If they can get the kill on Genji, it would be great. But nope, he is able to dash out. Protected, by the way, as they're going for Garrosh. Yeah, also able to move out of the fight for now. The initial lead has been taken by China, but they're not there yet. And Jimmy is back to business and is starting to seriously threaten that lead. He's of course insane in the early game with his level 1 talent. Exterminator is so damn good on the Immortal. And he can easily solo that one, and you can see it here perfectly. Jimmy is just sitting there and chunks down that hit point pool, which leads now to Korea taking the advantage around the halftime show. They are ahead. They're winning this one. So if nobody controls Jimmy, then he is single-handedly going to win this Immortal for Korea. Yeah, but China is now trying to do something about it, putting pressure on. Ruleset has to rush away and gets nearly killed, but survives. Thanks to the fight or flight, Cassia is hoping to get enough damage in on the right side to win the Immortal, but it doesn't seem to be working that well for them. China is still down on the Immortal. Oh, and there's a kill on Garrosh as Deathwing drops into the fight. Deathwing taking it easy peasy. Railgun also dashing out now. They're still attempting to drop those hit points and stop the bleeding a little bit. But I think it is pretty safe to say that Immortal number 1 is going to be taken by Korea. Jimmy is doing his thing. They're even threatening Genji now. But the first Immortal is taken by the Korean team. The momentum swing is definitely there. Game number 2 has been decided in favor of the blue team, and now they're carrying some of that momentum into the third map in an attempt to take the lead in this series. Now we got the Swift Retribution for Teriel, Dragon Soul, Heatwave into Skyfall for Deathwing as Lockdown is dropping down in the top lane, hoping to assist with the push. The shield's still there, and they are breaking through that wall. No problem whatsoever, trying to take the fort itself down and maybe even get a kill as they're targeting Cassia. We have Imperius at the bottom of the map, so top side, it's a 5 versus 4 that is now playing out with this push for Korea, and they're really chunking the fort down, trying to extend that lead, trying to get a bit farther ahead here. And they will be able to take the fort if somebody chips in a little bit. Yeah, Deathwing alone is already able to make that happen. So nicely done. First Immortal takes the fort, good job. If they can retreat it would be fantastic. There's a flip attempt though, and Teriel, he gets away. Lockdown, and then again, he gets killed. Deathwing drops. Still a worthy trade, especially considering that Sonya is already back down to the bottom of the map, dropping another fort. So this might even end up with Korea taking 2 forts with the first objective. I mean, doesn't really get any better than that. So Kirisaku is doing enormous damage here. Isn't able to take the fort, but got very, very close to it. And at any point, they can rotate some of the heroes over and finish the job. Ruleset, on the other hand, he still needs to be careful. The big problem with Jimmy is that he lacks an escape tool. He has his fight or flight, but besides that, there's no mobility on him. Of course, given the rules that we have in the tournament, where every single hero can only be played once, it also means that heroes like him have a bit of an easier time. But you look what's... I mean, normally, they can have a bit of an easier time. But you're going up against Genji, and Genji is going to hunt you down. You're going up against Karazim, and he is going to try and chase you. So, there's a huge amount of problems for Jimmy potentially as the game continues. Sonya with the Wrath of the Berserker. Kind of mirroring my own build for Diablo 4. And in the meantime, Decimate is in. We got the X-Strike as well. And off we go. Much easier, by the way, to manage Sonya's Fury than Fury with the Whirlwind Barb, just saying. Jimmy with the Hyperion. And what is Anduin gonna do? I mean, normally that's a pretty easy one to answer, so I'm a little bit hesitant, because are we really gonna see the bubble? Nah, we're not. He is going for the light bomb. No bubble for him. No big words from Anduin this time. Camps at the top and at the bottom of the map, both threatening forts. Very likely the bottom fort is going to fall. Imperius is doing what he can to still keep it in play, as everybody here is just going for the race. Everybody is just like trying to get a bit ahead on the Immortal. Halftime show is, in this case, already over. So now it's another lead for Korea. They're taking the bottom fort as well. This is going to be the second fort on the Chinese side that gets destroyed. So Korea really pulling ahead here. 2 forts destroyed. The lead on the Immortal. This is looking fantastic for them. It's looking really good for them. Another play, another kill. Imperius is gone. Cassia is gone. Korea on the move. They are doing work here. 7-sided strike from Railgun. He gets crushed too. That's 3 heroes down. Garrosh is able to escape. Genji at the top is trying to at least take down the fort, or help out a little bit, waiting for his cooldowns to come back to maybe escape. Runs straight into Anduin, and that just adds insult to injury. Not only did he die, but he died to the hands of Anduin. I mean, at this point, you might as well just quit the game and uninstall. If you get killed by Anduin, this is just like bad news. The crybaby takes you down, the guy that doesn't know how to hold a sword that throws light around. That just feels bad. That feels bad at the best of days. So 6 kills to 4. Korea looking fantastic in this third game. Winning 2 objectives, taking 2 forts down already. Evading the gank attempt at the bottom of the map, and now the big opportunity at the top side, going for the keep. Trying to not only take the wall down, but also damage the keep. I don't really think that this early in the game they can take the entire thing, but any damage here is of course going to be welcome. Deathwing isn't quite here with them yet. China's trying to defend. X-Strike already out. Here comes the flip from Garrosh as he's looking for targets, and they're chasing them hard. They take Jimmy down. Jimmy is gone. Jimmy is gone just before Hyperion came back. Was interrupted. So is Sonya, by the way. So damn, all of a sudden, look at Genji. Genji is getting them, and he wants payback. And he gets it. He takes Anduin down, and that is 3 heroes eliminated. 3 heroes gone. They keep taking damage. A lot more damage, by the way, than I initially expected. But whew, they still hold on to it. So at the top, a fort has been destroyed previously. We have 6 kills to 7. It's getting a little bit closer. Gap in experience is slowly closed by China. But they are still way behind in structures. The damage that the top keep has suffered could become a massive problem as the game continues, of course. If at any point you're getting wiped in a team fight, it just means your opponent has an easy keep to take down and maybe could go for the core too. Always depending on death timers. Oh, but that was a beautiful hit. Sanctification to save the day for Teriel. But a very nice execution of this attack by China to force the ult in the first place. Lockdown low and lockdown dead. He's gone. And now they're trying for another kill. Hyperion! And Garrosh is eliminated. So is Cassia. So China is losing the fight once again. 9 kills to 8. Holy hell. And yes, this is exactly what I talked about just a second ago. You win the team fight, you go for a keep. And that's what they're going to try and do here. They don't have the Hyperion anymore. And of course, with Karazim and Genji, you still have 2 heroes alive that could technically get a kill on you. But it's also 2 versus 4, and you don't really want to force that. So there it is, the first keep destroyed. Korea dominant, turning these fights around at will. 44,000 damage from Genji, 32,000 from Jimmy. Now Genji obviously is always going to threaten that backline. The problem, as explained previously, for Jimmy is his lack of mobility. So with a good coordinated attack, there's always a chance that China can come in and can take a quick kill. And they're going to try and do that. The race is already on, and this time China is a little bit faster. They're a little bit quicker, and they're taking the halftime show. They're unleashing the damage now, but the problem for the red team is that level 16 talent for the Koreans. Level 16, that turns Anduin into the pullout king, has a double, has the second charge on the leap of faith here. And fighting without the level 16 talent is always a huge disadvantage, but especially in this case now. Big power spikes for Korea. China doing the best they can to play around this. They have to soak a level until they have their own level 16 talent. Trying to poke a little bit from a distance. There's also now catapults up at the top. And they're actually engaging into this. Korea wasn't quite ready for that attack because they were going for their camp. 7-sided strike. Hyperion is up. And the kill. Cassia is gone. Cassia is gone. Imperius is dead to... Oh boy. Yep, double kill against the Chinese team. Genji eliminated. It's a triple, baby. And let's see how Korea is going to react to this. Are they going to try to go for the core here? They already have the top lane open. There's catapults that will home in on the core in a second. They're going for the objective as we speak. Death timers are still low. China has to be super careful here. And at the bottom of the map, we have the double catapult now doing massive work on the gate, taking the gate itself down. Same time, we have at the top the shield getting slowly diminished. The Immortal, of course, moving down to the bottom of the map. Everybody is back to business in time for the defense on the side of China. And with 12 kills to 8, Korea is hoping to eliminate another keep. They're going to make their move. They're going to go for the attack here. And let's see what they can do. Can they take keep number 2 down? Korea has only lost a single fort, by the way. Only a single fort, nothing else. Very likely the attack is going to focus on reset again. Try and eliminate Jimmy. He doesn't have Hyperion yet, but could use it for a potential push onto the core. And China's desperate. They need to desperately try and save this one. It's not only about the keep itself, but it's also about what happens and when the keep falls. Core could fall here. This could be the 2-1 lead for Korea. Korea is really looking at ending the game here. And the keep falls. Nothing left standing outside of that little tower in the middle and the core itself. Big problems all of a sudden for China. The series started off so well for them. But now there's a kill. China comes in and takes down Deathwing. Deathwing has been eliminated. They're chasing it harder. They want more. And they're getting more, aren't they? They're going for Kirisaku and they take Sonya down. It's a triple. Asteriel gets murdered. Cassia gets flipped forward. Catapults are now on the core. But China, they want more kills. They're not worried about the core right now. Minions will spawn soon. Imperius could take care of it. They're going for reset. Sole Survivor in this instance. They can't take him down. Reset escapes. But what can China do with the situation? What can they do here? 12 kills to 12. Same amount of kills. Still half a level behind. But they need momentum. They need to do something. They need to take structures down. They don't have the keep left. When the next objective spawns, they're going to be under so much pressure. And time is working in favor of Korea now. Those lanes are going to get pushed by minions and catapults. They're trying again for reset. And yeah, that's the end of him. That was a little bit telegraphed. That was a pretty dumb death, honestly. There was nothing he could realistically do here. He gets caught, did not check the bush at all, gets flanked and killed, and this all happens as the rest of the team respawns. This is that momentum swing that we've been talking about. That was really bad. That shouldn't have happened. That should not have happened. That is going to allow for another big window for China. They got a 30-second window, and since the Immortal spawns another 10 seconds, this is obviously a gap that is going to have consequences. Yeah, for sure. So, what can they do with this? Jimmy's back in 15. The lead, the halftime show, it should go to China. They're attacking already. 63,000 damage for Genji, 57,000 for Reina. And it is Lockdown that gets attacked. 5 versus 4. This is a 5 versus 4 right here. And they're fighting it. Rest of the team is moving in from the top. Yeah, here comes the X-Strike. Macchiato has to get out. And they're still alive. Cassia is doing damage to the Immortal. Jimmy's back to business, turning it back into an even game. 5 versus 5, but as expected, because Jimmy came in late, the halftime show victory goes to China. Korea is still ahead in experience. Level 20 should hit faster for them. How is China going to react to this? They're starting to push. They're starting to go for the CC. They're starting to go for Teriel. One flip, one hit. Might need the Sanctification here. Isn't forced into the ult yet. Here comes Deathwing. They could turn it on him. Trying to retreat, and level 20 any moment now for Korea. Big one for them. Big one. China cannot lose this Immortal. They have to fight for it. They have to fight for the Immortal. There is no other chance. There's no other opportunity. Lockdown gets attacked once again. There's level 20. Big upgrades. Jimmy with the Raiders roll. Comes in. There's the Hyperion. Lockdown. Oh, he's nearly dead and he dies. Deathwing. Deathwing is gone. And this is bad news. Bot lane. Heavy pressure against the core of China. But everybody's low. Everybody's low here. Look at Cassia. 400 hit points left. That's all she got. And it's Winion time. Winion time on the right side of the map. Oh, Cassia is gone. The core at 70%. And China is in deep shit. 60, 50%. Korea on the move. They want to end it right here. They want to end it right here, right now. They're going for the core. 50% is left. 13 to 14 kills. Korea is going for it. Korea is looking for it. It's a 4 versus 4. 4 versus 4. Genji's still alive. Core at 52%. A couple of shields are coming back. Everybody's retreating, trying to get some hit points back. Crow might be in trouble. No sanctification. And it is Tyrael that falls. 5% off the core. Down to 35. Jimmy dead. 28. No! They're all dying. They're all dying. Korea loses everybody. It's a 5-man team wipe as they eliminate the rest of the team. The Hearth is happening to give them the quick boost on hit points and mana. 28% on the core. It is nasty. They can still go for the Immortal here. This is gonna be an opportunity. China, they need to go for the big hits now. They have a bit of time left here, but their core is a disaster. 28% is all they got left. 18 kills to 13. Push through the bottom, through the top. Genji taking the catapults down, trying to create some space for them. Cassia going for the camp, trying to do the exact same thing. Make sure that they're getting something against these catapults. They cannot suffer any more core damage to Winions. It cannot happen. They need to control vision as well. 28% is not a whole lot, especially if you have a sanctification on the other side. Especially if the Tyrael explosion takes 5% off and your opponent runs a Hyperion too. So vision is everything. They know exactly where the blue team is right now. Can Korea move past them? They can't hide. They know where they are. Genji at the top, double camp as well. That top lane is not going to be a problem anytime soon. We're 20 minutes into the game. Korea defending. They cannot go past them. They cannot just simply move to the other side of the map. That's not how it works. 18 to 13. Kills as we go for the bot lane defense from the perspective of Korea. Hyperion gets used. They're pushing them back. They're trying to buy some time. Lockdown. They have them low. China is low. Big push at the top lane still. Lockdown trying to escape. And he dies. Deathwing. Deathwing is dead. The keep gets attacked, and while all of this plays out, there's another big one coming up at the top. Also something to keep in mind here. This double camp can do some serious damage. Keep about to be eliminated. 19 to 13. Korea's been dominating this game. They've been dominating until the late game. Until they staggered some deaths, tried to go for the core, couldn't manage to pull it all off. 28%, and China falls back. China is falling back. They're still playing around the bot lane. Topside keep is taking damage. And another kill. It's a 5 versus 3 all of a sudden. Nice turn by China. They take down Sonya, and the top keep is still under pressure. The keep likely gonna fall as the Chinese team comes in for the core. They try to end this. They try to take the lead in the best of 5. The shield is gone. Top keep gone. And China, they're pulling it off. They're turning the game around. 6.5 out of 10. No comeback mechanics as China flips the game on its head, takes the lead in the best of 5 series, and defeats Korea on Battlefield of Eternity. Well, here we are, game number 4, and China is in the lead. Now, this is a little bit of an interesting development. Game number 3 was wild. Battlefield of Eternity there towards the end. Holy hell. Korea kind of throwing this one a little bit and China taking advantage of it. Now, of course, in game number 4, we have more and more heroes that are unavailable. 30 heroes have been played thus far, which means they cannot be played again. And that results in Illidan. I mean, first and foremost on the left for Korea, we got Hyde on Alexstrasza, Lockdown on Jaina, we got Reset on Sylvanas, Crow on Mei, and Kiri Zaku is playing Azul. To the right side of the map, the Chinese with Junkrat. I'm not going to pronounce his name anymore. I suck at it. I apologize, but I can't. I have no idea how to start even. Macchiato with Sergeant Hammer. We got Samira on Illidan, Railgun on Whitemane, and Delusional on ETC. Alright. While we are in the early game, looking at Hammer, I also got a question for everybody that is watching this right now, especially for the YouTube audience. I have a bit of an idea what Twitch thinks. But we've been obviously doing a lot of meta madness lately, where not only can every hero be only played once, but more importantly, you have pre-bans. So that forces players to think outside of the box a little bit. But let's just talk for 1 second about banning or making sure that every hero can only be played once. There's always a little bit of a debate going on whether or not, when you're going too deep into the meta madness rules, this really fits for tournaments or not. And I personally absolutely agree that meta madness, where you start a tournament with 22 heroes being pre-banned and then heroes cannot be picked again, is a bit wild. Goes a bit deep, shouldn't really be played all the time. I have to admit, on the other hand, though, that the concept of just heroes not being available more than once per series is kind of cool. Doesn't make games too crazy if we're only talking about best of 5s. And I could see using that more and more as a standard mode for Heroes of the Storm tournaments. And I would really like to have your opinion if you think that's a cool thing, or if you think, nah, while fun at times, normal games where we just have traditional draft rules where you can pick and ban heroes as many times as you want is better. So let me know in the comments what you think about that, what you would like for tournaments in the future, and we'll take that into consideration when we host the next few formats there. And again, I'm talking about only best of 5s here, and I'm talking about no pre-bans, but heroes can only be played once in a series. That very, very specific case. Best of 3s and best of 5s. Best of 5 as the maximum, of course. But okay, focusing on this again, we got Heavy Pack and the Slush Ball for Mei. And, well, Sergeant Hammer with a regenerative Biosteel. The Chinese are apparently watching Nick's game. Look at that. Nick's build gets used by China. And the unending hatred for Illidan. Big map, of course, for him. I love it when Illidan gets played. It's always fun, it's awesome, I really like it. He has a pseudo global too. He's gonna be the one to rotate between lanes. ETC can create some space for Sergeant Hammer, so China is playing a lot with displacement from Sergeant Hammer herself, from Junkrat, and then also ETC to make sure that nobody is able to deal with Sergeant Hammer in the later stages of the game. But you're also getting an Illidan player that is starting to scale quite nicely as the game progresses with his level 1 and all of the auto attack damage that comes there, and can then really start to threaten your structures and so much more as the game continues. So with that, we now have all the way up at the top Samira getting pressured by a 3-man rotation. Sylvanas being available for the blue team is obviously a huge advantage if you're trying to take structures down. But Reset might be in a bit of trouble here. He's been playing a really cool series. Had a couple of problems, but he also had some insanely awesome moments. So Reset is an absolute force to be reckoned with, especially as Vala play on Infernal Shrines nearly turned the game around for Korea. But by now we are having the Rapid Chase, we got the Hunter's Onslaught, and the stacks are still coming in for Illidan, of course, as with Hover Siege mode, finally Sergeant Hammer is unleashing her full potential. In the middle then again, ooh, Delusional with a really shitty mount. Really shitty mount. I mean, this is probably the worst mount in the game. I don't know if there's a mount that's worse than that, but if you know a mount that is worse than this one, then let me know, because this is definitely the ugliest mount that I can think of in the entire game. Sylvanas is putting the pressure on top side and is starting to destroy the wall here. Yeah, good for her. It's actually some really nice structural damage that she's able to get out. Gets, of course, now also attacked very quickly as the team is trying to make a play for Reset. But they shouldn't be able to take him on just yet. But Illidan, I could definitely see Hunt coming in here. And Illidan is going to do some work as this continues. If he is keeping up his stacking progress, if he gets into the late game, especially as the map opens up and the distance to safety during team fights increases, then Illidan can start chasing you down heavily. Now, there's a couple of tools that the blue team has to deal with Illidan, but there's very few hard stuns. There's a little bit of CC available, especially in terms of slows. But hard stuns are fairly rare for Korea, and that benefits Illidan nicely. As always, there's this Plastic League meme that if you're up against Illidan, what you want to stack is blinds. That's obviously BS. A blind can assist, but you shouldn't really go out of your way to just draft a blind. But what you can definitely draft is stuns. Stun chains are Illidan's worst nightmare, and if you can get those out, that is always nice. So in this case, there's very few stuns available. There's a couple of things that he has to be careful of. Maya has a couple of tools. Jaina has a few tools here that she can use, but generally speaking, this should be a game where in the later stages, Samira is going to have a big impact. But let's see if he gets to that. For now, Sergeant Hammer is pushing the bottom of the map. We have at the same time now also heroic abilities available. Yeah, good burst damage. That's another thing that you can deal with. But off we go. Yep, level 10 available for both sides, and it is, of course, the Hunt. ETC with a stage dive. They're going for a couple of pseudo-globals here. Sergeant Hammer is still pressuring out the bot lane, and Korea is attempting in the middle of the map to make up for the losses that they're suffering. BFG with a nice connect on Jaina, so lockdown is now a little bit low. And Alex Straza is helping them as well. 4 versus 5, they're able to defend. Korea's retreating, and Sergeant Hammer is still weaving in these right clicks like a boss. One hit after another. Top, on the other hand, that's where things start to slowly change, as now Illidan is sitting at 19 stacks and is just about to complete his level 1 quest. Obviously, he can still stack past it then, but the quest reward is going to kick in a moment. Mind Control on Sergeant Hammer! Mind Control is one of the tools that Sylvanas can use against Illidan as well, if she can hit it. That's definitely going to be a big one. But right now, Samira is going to become a big threat. It's not so much about team fights, that's obviously another big factor. But as we've seen from Korean players in the past, Rich in particular, if you have Illidan on structures, you can absolutely destroy entire lanes if Illidan is not being dealt with. And that is a big risk here. So I like what China is doing in this 4th game, and keep in mind, this is match point. If they win here, they move on to the grand final. So that's the big one. But, yep. Up at the top, we have a little bit more pressure being done. Still, Kirisaku with the Zul is dealing with it. Illidan has already moved back towards the middle. And compared to the games that we've seen up to this point, this is a very tame game. We've seen a couple of fights, but only a single kill. So not really as kill heavy and as aggressive as the players were in the previous 3 maps. And I honestly can't really blame, especially the Koreans, for taking it a little bit easier here, considering that they want to win this one. They need to win this one. If they don't want to drop down into the losers bracket, then they need to really buckle up here and bring their A game. Delusional at the bottom of the map is getting attacked. Korea is looking for a kill, and Korea is going to find a kill. They should be able to grab this one. Or are they? Yeah. No, they're not! He actually gets the cooldown back in time to slide out of the fight. A lot of resources used by Korea to get a kill that they could not get. Level 13 is available to them. Illidan is still up at the top, and that is really bad news. They get a fort in the middle at least, but this is level 13 versus level 13. And as, again, late game, I really like what China has here. So we'll see what they can pull off, but things will get tricky. Yeah. Bit of an attack down at the bottom of the map potentially. Illidan could come in and does. Here's the Hunt. And he's coming in quickly. Yeah, quick snowball. But Mei is in trouble. She's still in trouble. And she's likely gonna fall. Mei is down, and now they're going for Zul. You can run, baby, but you cannot hide. And that is the end of the Necromancer. He's gonna fall eventually here. So this is kill number 2. China is chasing. They're chasing with Illidan, and Hyde is on the run, but once again, it's just Illidan doing Illidan things and showing zero mercy. The bottom fort has already fallen, and they're continuing the pressure play with the bottom keep wall, easily taking it out. Absolutely no problem for them whatsoever. And with Sergeant Hammer and Illidan, they're also doing damage on the keep now. Maybe even trying to go for another hit, and yeah, there's the hunt. So they're threatening wherever they can. Jaina is sitting in the middle, but she will have to retreat if she wants to help with the defense, because this pressure is not going to stop unless she contributes to the defense, which she does, and China falls back. But holy hell, this is gonna get really dangerous with every single team fight. The momentum swing that you can get out of just killing a hero or two if you are running this comp is gigantic. Illidan by now has access to the Nimble Defender. Delusional is still riding the ugliest mount in the game. And Kirizaku is at least defending the top. But I'm worried for Korea. I really am. 3 kills to 1, a little bit behind in experience. What are you doing, girl? What is Jaina doing? Yeah, outside of dying, of course. That was way too telegraphed. Somebody got a little bit greedy over here. Pushed us way too far out. It had no vision on the heroes, and that very quickly ended with them falling. The Sergeant Hammer gank attempt in an attempt to try and get a counter kill, but that didn't work. Level 16 is ready. Once again, the attack. 1 seat has been taken so far. Up at the top, the second one gets also claimed by Korea, but level 16 is now in play, and that gives us the mark for death. The hunt, as they are coming in for Mei, and she is again in trouble. Mei goes down. Goodbye. Zul is pushing the top a little bit, but this is not boding well for the Koreans. They're losing too much, and they're losing it quickly. 5 kills to 1. Team fights are not looking great. The pseudo-global from Illidan and the real global from ETC are making it very difficult for them to do anything here. Every time they're trying to make a play, the reaction is immediate. And in this case, another try to go for Sergeant Hammer. No chance. Whitemane with the big heals. Jaina goes down. Blondie has no chance as she gets absolutely destroyed by Sergeant Hammer and Illidan. And with level 16 in the hands, Korea at least has the same talent. But of course, the mid fort falls. No chance of holding this one. And China is dominating the middle of the map now. 3 structures have fallen, 2 on the side of the blue team. Only 1 has been destroyed in the middle of the map on the side of China. And it is just crushing. 30,000 damage by Junkrat. Illidan has 20,000, but of course his single target damage is a very, very different beast. They're stealing camps away. Camp control on this map, super important. It is the map that has the most mercenary camps by far. And if you control them, then there's going to be continuous pressure. The seed, of course, has to be claimed. If Korea could win this one, that would be big. That would allow them to make a comeback here, maybe, with the objective. But as is, it is China trying to hold the position. Korea does everything they can to turn it around, but look at Kirizaku. Zul is alive and makes it out of the fight on the skin of his teeth. And as I say, ETC flattens him like a pancake. Mei dies again. That is the 3rd time that she's gone, and guess what? Jaina is going to follow. They're going for the triple. The ice block only delaying it. This is going to be the keep at the bottom of the map. This one cannot be saved. How much deeper can China go here? Momentum, momentum, momentum. Aggression, aggression, and more aggression. And they're going for it. Holy shit. They want to go for the core. 13 minutes in, 3 heroes are down, and they're saying, all right, boys, let's go, and let's end this. Sylvanas dies, the core in trouble, and it seems like China is taking victory in game number 4. They're claiming the winner bracket final. They move on to the grand final, and they send Korea packing. The blue team will go down into the losers bracket and will have to fight their way through if they want to have a chance at a rematch. But the Chinese team with a big victory here in this best of 5. Nicely done. GG and well played.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description and check that out. Thanks in advance and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.